Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. I wanted to get ready today on camera with some newish products that I've been playing around with and just kind of give you my thoughts, give you my overview. There's some hits, some misses, and yeah, my skin is nice and prepped. And I'm going to just apply a little bit of this Chantecaille Sheer Glow Rose Face Tint. This is just like a really lightweight moisturizer with a tiny little bit of glow, but it's super lightweight and it's hydrating. It's great if you have combo oily skin that gets a little bit dehydrated in the winter because it's not greasy, but it provides a nice hydration. And I like to take it all the way under my eyes. It looks really beautiful under the eyes. I think it's nice under concealer, and I'm trying to use it up. I've had it for a while and I'm on a mission this year to just enjoy and use up what I have. For foundation, I'm going to try to use the Rose Inc Soft Light Skin Smoothing Liquid Foundation. I have probably worn this maybe 10 to 12 times in the last month. I received this in PR from the brand. And I have to say, out of those 10 times, it has maybe looked good twice. At an 80% failure rate so far with this foundation, but you know me, I am stubborn and I am determined to make it work somehow because I see potential. The shade match is excellent. I have the shade 10N, which is light medium neutral with olive undertones, and it is so hard to find foundations that are on the light end or the light medium end that have neutral olive undertones. It is very hard. Very few brands cater to the specific undertone. A lot of the stuff just ends up being too peachy or too yellow on me, even if it claims to be neutral. And yeah, I think maybe because of the color match, that's why I am so determined to get this to work for me. So this is a light to medium coverage foundation. It reminds me of Armani Luminous Silk. It's like if Armani Luminous Silk and Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint had a little foundation baby. That's kind of what this foundation reminds me of. And if you watched my video reviewing the Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint foundation, I have very similar issues with this foundation. If I had to choose between the two, I would pick Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint because that one has more coverage and it's even more smoothing and more long wearing. I'm having trouble basically because it really, despite it being marketed as skin smoothing, I find that it really clings on to every dry bit of skin on my face, even if I don't think I have any, even if I exfoliate, even if I hydrate. Like I exfoliated this morning, I used a hydrating face mask. I'm trying to really set myself up for success with this foundation, but we'll see. Most of the time, I end up failing. But in terms of texture, it's not quite as fluid as Armani Luminous Silk, not quite as thick as the Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint, but it's somewhere in the middle. One pump is more than enough for a nice, even light coverage. From my experience, this does not build that nicely on itself. So I like to just do a thin layer because if I build it up, it starts to really get cakey looking and it starts to emphasize dryness. So just a word of warning, if you're somebody that does struggle with dehydration, if you're somebody that's maybe a tretinoin user, you know, sometimes when we're using tretinoin, you can get those little dry, flaky bits of skin. This really highlights those areas. If you don't have those issues, if, for example, you like and use the Lisa Eldridge foundation or the Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint foundation without any trouble, this is worth checking out because this will probably look really good on you. Like I said, the color match is one of my favorite things about it, and it does blend in really nicely on the skin. I've had issues with it. I've had issues with it clinging onto dry patches. I've had issues with it not layering nicely with my usual morning skincare. It has the tendency to pill a little bit. I don't know, there's just something about the products that I'm using and this particular foundation that it just doesn't jive well. So I can't use my regular morning skincare. I have to have a very specific skin prep routine in order to get this to work for me. Foundation is just so personal, and there are so many variables, right? It's your skin type, it's your particular season and environment that you're in, it's your actual skincare routine, it's the sunscreen that you're using. There are so many variables at play. It's probably why I don't really review foundations anymore, just because I realize there are so many variables, and it takes me forever to realize how I truly feel about a foundation. It takes me a long time to figure out how I can make it work for me, and that might not be the case for you. You might have a skincare routine that works beautifully with this foundation without you having to have any modifications, but just letting you know kind of my experience. Let's see what happened today. It's looking okay. It's not looking as bad, but I still wouldn't really call this smoothing. I don't find it smoothing at all, really. It's not more smoothing than other foundations that I have in my collection. The finish is really natural. You know, it hasn't blurred out my pores. It hasn't blurred out my little fine lines or anything either. It's fine. You know what I mean? I'm going to hang on to it because we have had a really cold month so far. It's been so cold. My skin has been really dehydrated, so maybe that has also played a factor in it. So because the color match is so good, I am going to hang on to this and see maybe later on in the spring and in the summer if it gets any better. And if it does, I'll give you a little update. As it stands right now, I would give this foundation maybe a 3 out of 5. I do like the packaging. I think the packaging is really beautiful. There's no fragrance to it. There's no added fragrance, but this does have a scent, probably because of the ingredients. To me, this smells like mothballs. It does dissipate. It doesn't smell like that on your face anymore, but just a random note there. But yeah, the packaging is really sleek. It's a beautiful glass bottle with the signature rose ink arch. The price is pretty steep. It's $54, which, I mean, it's less than Armani Luminous Silk or the Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint, but those are the two that I would compare it to. It's kind of like a mixture of those two, but separately, I prefer Armani Luminous Silk to this because Armani Luminous Silk doesn't emphasize any texture on my face. That one glides really beautifully. And then I would also prefer the Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint, which has more coverage, and that one, I actually find it to be quite smoothing, even though that one is also a pain in the butt for me to apply because it has the tendency to emphasize dryness. But if I do the right skin prep routine with that one, it can wear really beautifully and it has nice coverage. It's a really good evening out foundation for me. That's my long-winded way of saying this is just an okay foundation. It hasn't blown me away or anything, but we're rolling with it. I'm going to go in with my usual under eye corrector. This is the Sisley Phyto-Cernes Eclat in shade number 2. I love this product so much. It's so good at neutralizing the discoloration and darkness under my eyes. For a bit of extra coverage, I'm using the Haus Labs concealer in shade 21. I'm going to use this a little bit on my face as well, and under my eyes. Just to cover. Still obsessed with this concealer. I usually just use it under my eyes, but lately I've been dabbling with it on my face as well, and it's so good. I love this concealer so much. Under my eyes, I'm going to add a little drop of this Too Faced concealer. This is the Born This Way Ethereal Light Concealer in the shade Graham Cracker. This is a new to me concealer. I don't know when it launched. It's just a little brighter. And I'm adding it just a little dot in the inner corner. Again, this concealer isn't a love, isn't a must-have. I did receive it in PR from the brand. I would liken it to Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, but it's not quite as smoothing as Luminous Silk. It's maybe a little bit more, it's got a touch more coverage than Armani Luminous Silk concealer, and it has the same luminosity. You can see that they both have that same luminous finish. So this is the Too Faced, and then that's the Luminous Silk Concealer. I have the Luminous Silk Concealer in shade 4.5. I find Luminous Silk to be ever so slightly smoother. It's nice for just adding a tiny bit of brightness, but then the Haus Labs Concealer gives me that amazing longevity. If I had to choose between the two, I would still choose the Luminous Silk Concealer. Mixing a lighter coverage luminous concealer with a more full coverage, just satin or satin matte concealer under the eyes can be a fun way to customizing the coverage and finish that you want without buying something new, which is great. And then I'm going to fill in my brows. This is the Victoria Beckham BabyBlade eyebrow pencil in dark brown. I have been using a eyebrow serum. Last time I went and I got my eyebrows done, I bought the Grande Brow serum, and I have to say, I have noticed a difference. I noticed that I don't need as much product to fill those bald spots in anymore, which is nice. So here's the finish of everything on my skin before powder. I definitely need a little bit of setting powder, but I always use setting powder without fail. I'm using the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder to set my under eyes. So far, moral of the story is the grass isn't always greener, and the products that you already have are probably just as good, if not better, than the hot new thing that's out right now. And the marketing is so enticing, right? Here, try this new foundation. It's going to change your life. This new concealer is going to be the best ever. This is the Westman Atelier Vital Skin. What is this called? Vital Pressed Skincare Powder. I have this in the shade Creme. I don't use this when my skin is more oily, but this is a really great powder if you have more dry skin or if you're living in a cold, dry climate, because it sets the makeup. It has this nice blurring quality to it, but it doesn't look powdery and it doesn't dry your skin out. I've had it for a while and I always reach for it every winter. I'm never disappointed by it. For blush, I'm going to do Rose Inc Wisteria, which is a really, really pretty peachy nude, I would say. I still think that the cream blushes are the star of the show for Rose Inc. I love their cream blush formula. I find it quite long wearing. And again, really beautiful skin-like finish. I am applying it on a powdered face and it still applies beautifully. Sometimes I apply it underneath my powder, but today I want that shine to come through, so I'm just applying it over powder with a BK Beauty 110 brush. And if you have the Laura Mercier Chai blush, this layers really beautifully on top of this if I want to mattify it again or give it even more longevity. I think today I'm just going to let the glowy cheek live. Let's do the Chantecaille. The Chantecaille Sirena bronzer. Love this so much. And this is a Rephr 22 brush. Just a little bit to frame the face. Down my neck. My neck is so pale. I used to self-tan my neck, but now I honestly can't be bothered to do any fake tanning anymore. I'm just too lazy. Are you still fake tanning? How do you feel about it? Are you spray tanning? Or are you just embracing your natural skin tone? For the eyes, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. My friend Dina gave me this Byredo eyeshadow sticks, I believe. And this is in the shade Kumato, which is a really, really beautiful olive green. It's a warm olive green. And she bought it a while ago, but she doesn't love the way that it looks on her, so she gave it to me, and I've really been enjoying it, especially when I'm wearing brown. I really like having this color on my eyes. It's not the most long-wearing formula. I do get a bit of creasing throughout the day, but nothing that I can't just blend out with my fingers. I feel like I'm playing with color. I'm being more adventurous, but it's still quite neutral and muted. So I've just been applying this, just a light wash of this all over my eyelid. It's really buildable. You can get a more impactful application with fingers or just straight up from the stick, but I prefer to just slowly build it with a brush so I can get more control. In the crease, I'm going to apply a light wash of Merit Vachetta because I don't like to take this green color in my crease. It looks a bit weird. Blending the colors into each other. I'm going to take a little pencil brush and this taupe shade from Sisley. This is a eyeshadow crayon in the color, I don't think this has a name. I think this just has a number. Number 16, the Phyto Eye Twist from Sisley. It's just a really good taupe. I love using this color on my lower lash line just to add a bit of shadow and structure. A little bit of Victoria Beckham brightening pencil in my waterline. I can't remember if I bought it from Yes Style or Stylevana, but I've been really enjoying it. It's the Clio Kill Lash Super Proof Mascara Extreme Volume. And this is a tubing mascara. A tubing mascara that gives volume. Lisa Eldridge Fawn lip liner. I have not used this in a long time. I should probably sharpen it. Side note, if you have a pencil sharpener that you like that has a chamber like this, let me know, because this is an old Glossier Play sharpener. I absolutely love this, but it's starting to be dull, and they don't make this anymore because Glossier Play as a brand doesn't exist anymore. But I've been looking for something similar. So if you have a pencil sharpener for your lip liners and eyeliners that has a chamber like this and that you really love, let me know. This is Make Beauty Anti-Gravity. Just a little bit of concealer on this little brush. And I'm going to, I have a zit right at the corner of my lip. And I'm just going to go and try to conceal that. All right, friends, this is the final look. Just a quick summary of the products featured. The Rose Inc Soft Light Skin Smoothing Foundation. I don't find it particularly smoothing, but when I do the right skin prep, I can get it to be quite nice. But I have other foundations in my collection that are less high maintenance, that give me the same, if not even better results. So this is not a win for me, but I do really love the shade match, and I am going to keep this in the roster because I'm curious if it will perform better on me maybe in the spring or in the summer. I'll be keeping you updated. The Born This Way Ethereal Light Concealer, again, it's fine. It's nice. I'm able to make it work, but there are concealers that I like better in my collection. The Rose Inc Cream Blush, I absolutely love this cream blush formula, and the shade Wisteria is just a really beautiful, warm, nude blush. The Westman Atelier Vital Skin Press Powder, a really great blurring setting powder if you have drier skin, more dehydrated skin, and if you just really don't like the look of powder on your skin, but you need a little something to set, maybe in the T-zone or around your nose. The Byredo Color Stick in the shade Kumato, absolutely love this shade. I wish it was more long wearing, but it is beautiful. It gives a soft, refined sheen. It's not chunky, it's not too metallic, it's not too glittery, but it makes me feel like I'm being more adventurous, but it's still very much in my comfort zone because it's quite neutral, but it's a really fun green shade. Haus Labs Concealer, still love. The Merit Eyeshadow, absolutely love. Lisa Eldridge Lip Liner, a really good rediscovery for me. I do wish this shade, the shade Fawn, I wish it was a little bit more cool toned. The Fawn lipstick is more cool toned on my lips than the lip liner. Still a really beautiful long wearing formula. The Make Beauty Serum Balm Intense in the shade Anti-Gravity, just a really beautiful, low maintenance, moisturizing, nude type of shade that I love to just reapply throughout the day. And the Kill Lash Mascara by Clio is really, really good. If you struggle with mascara smudging on you, and if you like tubing mascara formulas, it's a good one to check out. That concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me for this really random, all over the place, chatty get ready with me video. I hope you're having a beautiful day. As always, I'll be catching up with you in the comment section below. Let me know what products you've been loving. What have you been using? Is there anything that you've rediscovered lately? I will be chatting with you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.